bitches, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thank you for giving me just a few minutes of your time. The NFL playoffs are getting ready to start. They actually start tonight. I believe Tennessee is going to be playing New England tonight. So with that going on, I want to give you my top 5 quarterbacks going in to the NFL playoffs. And I'm going to start with number 5, going Jimmy G. I'm a Niner fan. Love me some Garoppolo. Look, he has all kinds of talent. If he goes on a 3-game hot streak, it's quite possible the Niners are putting on a 6th ring after this season's over. In my opinion, though, he's only really carried 2 games for the Niners this year. He had the Halloween game against Arizona where he threw for 4 touchdowns, and he had that big win against New Orleans in Week 14. But the Niners are 3-2 against playoff teams, which isn't that bad. But 2 of the teams that they've lost to are Baltimore and Seattle. The Seattle game I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. Baltimore is the big one because if you're going to win the Super Bowl, you probably have to go through Baltimore. The thing about the Niners, though, and I believe in I think it was Colin Cowherd that said this, the Niners can beat you in a lot of different ways. If Garoppolo's not having a great game or if coverage is tight, they can beat you with a couple of different running backs. If the running backs aren't quite getting going, all Garoppolo really has to do is dump it to guys like Kittle. If Kittle's double covered, then probably Emmanuel Sanders is probably open somewhere farther down the field. There's a lot of different things the Niners can do to beat you, but I think Garoppolo is number 5. Like I said, ton of talent. As a Niner fan, I'm really waiting for him to have this big coming out moment. If he has it here in the playoffs, it's going to be really tough for anybody to beat them and take the Lombardi Trophy, but he's number 5 for right now. Number 4 on my list is Russell Wilson. Look, Russell Wilson has been consistently one of the best quarterbacks in the last probably 5-6 years or so. He's got 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, which are fantastic numbers. But I believe in something Colin Cowherd says, that the Seahawks are too Russell Wilson dependent. If he's not on his game, they're going to struggle really, really bad. The defense isn't quite what it was. They don't have the Legion of Boom anymore, although they're still pretty stable. They don't quite score points in big enough numbers to win shootouts with anybody. Now, he has played 3 playoff teams that are in the playoffs this year. He's lost to both New Orleans and Baltimore, which is scary because you're probably going to see New Orleans. If you're Seattle, you're probably going to see New Orleans at some point on your road to the NFC title game, on your road to the Super Bowl. And if you get to the Super Bowl, you're more than likely going to see Baltimore. So you've already lost to both those teams. They split the season series with the Niners, 1 win, 1 loss, but they needed a last-second field goal in overtime to beat them on the big Monday night game in November. And then they couldn't quite finish the job with the comeback in the last game of the season. And that was with a potential number 1 seed and a bye on the line, a bye in playoff week 1 on the line. So I'm not exactly sure what that's going to mean, but whatever. He just like Tom Brady, who we'll talk about later on this list, he's got a tendency to kind of find some magic when he needs it to kind of put things together in big games, and everything from here on out is a big game, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him really explode to carry his team deep into the playoffs. But if he struggles, again, it's going to kind of dictate where the Seahawks go. I don't see him struggling against Philly in the first round, but if he does, the season's going to come to a pretty quick and pretty disappointing end for the Seahawks. The third-ranked quarterback in this list coming into the playoffs for me is Tom Brady. Look, he got off to a really hot start. He was 8-0, then he ran into Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, and then they proceeded to lose 4 of their next 8 games, including 2 losses to Baltimore and Kansas City, who are in the playoffs, including a loss to Miami in Week 17 with a big first-round bye on the line. They couldn't put away the lowly Miami Dolphins. That, to me, I'm not saying that the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick dynasty is over. I'm saying it's definitely on its last legs. It's coming to an end. But here's one of the reasons that I can't really discount Brady. The last couple of years I've been telling myself, and a lot of people have been saying out loud, they think the dynasty's over, they're on the way out. And it seems like every year they come along and they have a really good run, they put a good team together that competes and contends. They even win a couple of Super Bowls along the way. I can't count out Tom Brady until he tells me he's leaving football. I've doubted Tom Brady a lot over the course of the last probably 10 or 12 years, and every year he makes me eat crow once the Super Bowl trophy is being handed out. So he's third on my list, mainly because he's getting old. He doesn't quite have the receiving core. Their defense is strong, but if their defense slips, it puts a lot of pressure on Tom Brady that I don't think that he can bring this receiving core through to the promised land. But that's just me. I've got Tom Brady number 3. Number 2 on my list is Lamar Jackson. He had the Ravens so far out in front of the rest of the AFC that they didn't even play him in Week 17. 3,100 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. I don't think he fumbled the ball that much either. I think he only had 1 or 2 fumbles all year, which isn't really a whole lot. Now, 3 of the 4 teams that stand in his way to a ring, San Francisco, Seattle, and New England, he's already beaten once this year. So he's already proven that he can get past these teams that might be his biggest obstacle. Now, I have been saying for a long time that mobile quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls for a reason. You don't pay your quarterback to win games with his legs. You pay quarterbacks to win with their arms. The one person who could make me eat tons of crow on this is Lamar Jackson. As much as I love the 49ers, as much as I think the 49ers can pull it off this year, they've already lost to Baltimore once this year. I'm not 100% sure that the Niners have gotten to the point where they can answer Baltimore if they play them again. They are, right now, as I sit here, my personal favorite to win the Super Bowl. I'm a Niner fan. I want the Niners to win. I think the Niners can. But right now, I feel it in my gut. I think Baltimore Ravens are winning the Super Bowl this year, and I could very easily see Lamar Jackson being the MVP. Who's number 1, you might ask? This guy, Drew Brees. He only played 11 games this year because he was injured for the first part of the season, but he threw 27 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. He is one of the best offensive lines in football. They're keeping him healthy when he's on this. They've kept him healthy since he returned from his injury. He's only played in 1 game against a playoff team this year, and that was San Francisco. That was that absolute slugfest that they lost 48-46. But he still threw for 350 yards and 5 touchdowns in that game against a defense that was killing people at that point in the year. Drew Brees he's just like Brady in the sense that he's got Brady, Wilson, and maybe a couple of the guys in the league over the course of the last several years. They can really turn it on when the games are tight, when the games are big. These are big games. He's still very good. He's still got a good team surrounding him. He's got a smart coach. Look, it looks really, really good for Drew Brees to put up big numbers and win big games. I don't know that they're my favorite to beat Baltimore if they end up representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. But I think if anybody can do it, it's going to be Drew Brees. It could be Drew Brees and the Saints that stop them from hitting that stop Baltimore from hitting that height of winning a Super Bowl. The only reason I put him number 1 over Lamar Jackson, to be perfectly honest, is he's got big game experience. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He's almost my age, for crying out loud. He's got a ton of experience. This guy's been here before. A lot of the guys on his team have been there before. If I have to give you a Super Bowl prediction right now, God, I'd be really hard pressed to not say that my favorite prediction for a Super Bowl matchup wouldn't be Baltimore, New Orleans, and Miami in 5 weeks. Like I said, as a Niner fan, I want that to be the Niners. I want the Niners to win, but I don't know that they've got what they need just yet. I think it's probably going to be Baltimore over New Orleans in the Super Bowl. Maybe. I don't know. But New Orleans looks awful good. Brees is probably, with the exception of Tom Brady, probably the most experienced quarterback in the playoffs this year. So, I don't know. That's what I've got to say about the top 5 quarterbacks in the playoffs right now going into the week 1 of the playoff matchups for the wild card. Go down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys later.